I would like to have a slightly different kind of a pinup today than usual, and I'll explain. You become very connected to your work. Sometimes you can't see anything except your own work, and you get into it so far that you get lost, or you get, let us say, you get hopelessly lost inside your own project. Perhaps not hopelessly, but you certainly only see that. And I'd like to have you step back from that today and see your project in a little different way that is not so connected personally to you, so that maybe you can be a little bit more objective about it. So the format for the review is very simple, but it gets at that notion. And that is that you're going to have a partner, and I've teamed you up for various reasons, because same sit together or similar project or for whatever. And we're going to have about a 10-minute time. So you're going to have a teammate, first of all, and I'll tell you who they are. And you're going to have about 10 minutes to, both of you, explain to each other what your project is and what was important. So these are two that are teamed up. She explains what she's doing to her project, to Hassan, and Hassan explains what he's doing to her. Then, after that, I'm going to ask, in this case, Hassan to present her project. And she has to sit there quietly. And then she presents his project. And further, I'm going to ask them to make one comment as to how they could make it better. So you're getting outside yourself. Got it?
So how did they say how she could make hers better?
She is presenting Hassan's, what he's trying to do. And at the end, she says, I think that Hassan could improve it by doing this. So, and he's sitting there quietly, can't say, hey, that's not the way I wanted it. It was something else. He has to remain quiet. Got it? So you can't jump in and say, hey. And then, well, of course, we'll have a discussion after that. And the point of that is to get you outside your own project so that you might be able to see it in a different eyes. All right?
Probably remember the skating and the rock climbing as the central ideas. So she wanted to put that in the central part of the building and make the activities connect the building vertically, and so that from everywhere in the building you can see down into the skating and to the rock climbing. So I'll just take you through it. The entrance is here. This is the street coming like this. You enter into here. This is the food area, which is clear, and so it's visible from the outside, and you can come eat in here. And these are circulation. They're either going to be ramps or stairs. You can
escalators.
Or escalators, sorry. So the first floor is mainly the food, or you can go over here to the rock climbing. This is all connected, obviously. And the second floor has an area for concerts. The area is sort of the rental area for climbing and for skating, I guess you can rent. And then the third floor has more of a learning for the climbing area and the general hangout spot. Let's see. In terms of materials, the floor mainly is concrete. This is actually transparent, so you can look down and see people skating by. And it's like right on top of the skate paths, I guess. And this part here is more open because it's, it wants to focus on this big area. This second floor is more closed, and because it has more of the rental area. Okay, the hangout spot has a slanted window because she wanted you to be able to look down onto everything but sort of not be seen so that you're watching, but you can just sort of, be doing your own thing at the same time. The roofs. The roofs also direct the light into the main area that you want to emphasize. So light comes in through here, down, here, down, here, down. And if you turn this around, you can see that there's actually another entrance in here to go into the food place. And this floor extends out, and so this is an area that you can sort of hang out in. And you can also enter here. And so you can go rock climbing out here or indoors. And let's see. Oh, one thing she changed from last time was that the walkway that she had wrapping around, you can now walk all the way around the platforms, whereas before she had the platform and here and another one start there. So now you can walk around the whole building, so it's sort of a horizontal connection that puts everything together. And as far as suggestions, one suggestion was maybe a more direct path for the food to this sort of balcony hangout area, because right now you have to go all the way around. Hey! So that's a suggestion, sort of a practical one. And I don't quite know the structure of the roof and how that's working. I'm sure that'll be figured out at some point. And I don't know the safety of this, but it might be interesting if you could keep going, because you keep climbing and you hit the roof, and you keep climbing and you hit a roof. I don't know if it's cool just to keep climbing.
The main idea was she had researched that a lot of events go on, a lot of parades take place around this area, and she wanted to make a place where people can come together from Boston and make the floats in this area, but also have tourists and people not necessarily making them observe the process of making these floats. So her building's kind of organized so that the public enters from the stairs from the right here and goes there. The bottom floor is a general art store, so it's a very public area. And then next most public is the stairs from the right for the general public. They enter through the building in here, and there's a museum and exhibition place and information center where they can learn about the history of Boston and stuff like that. And let's see, there's a good view from behind of how they enter in through this museum area across a ramp that looks down over the space where all the floats are being built, which is a large area. And you can continue down that bridge into this other area, which is more museum and information exhibition gallery space on this second floor in here with the clear windows, and that also looks down into this construction area. Sorry.
It's very delicate, it's okay.
And okay, so that's where it focuses mainly on the public, and then for the participants for building the floats, they enter through this left side. This glass box-like area is all the circulation where all the stairs are to go between the different levels. So they enter from the left, and the first floor there's this long hallway where there's wood shops, metal shops that are all open to this construction area, the main construction area in the middle. And then on the second floor, was the gallery space, but then if the builders of the floats go out to the third floor, there's smaller rooms where they can focus on building smaller components of the larger float, places for people to paint things, stuff like that. And then there's a roof deck that goes in the direction of the street that the parades go, or the floats move down. And there's also a parallel deck over here that's for the public. Her roofs are designed to contrast the more rectangular plan of the building. They kind of give the illusion of floating over a lot of activity, signifying all the different construction and energy that's going on underneath it. And a lot of lights entering through here. There's copper and translucent material, glass on the vertical openings. So there's also a couple things we talked about where she maybe wants to develop a better design for the roof deck area, a different way to maybe improve the circulation instead of the area, instead of having the glass box. But mainly I think like the roof and the rest of the structure is delicate and like interesting and pretty intricate, but then you just kind of have this thing that's very literally pointing out to the street in this rectangular shape, so that can maybe match the depth of design for the rest of the project. But that's Laya's.
Okay. Very good, guys. You two guys happy?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should hire each other to present. It has the quality of lace, or it has the quality of filters. It has a lightness to it. It has the quality of being an incredible dynamic building. This building is on the move, and you can have that feeling. And it has the quality of wanting to go in and see what's going on in there. It's very mysterious and not in an opaque way, but it has that feeling of something exciting is happening inside of that. And I think it's very, very powerful. The way the roofs are, the way that you've gone from the copper to the transparent to the clear. When you turn it around, you've got this incredible lace-like feeling of these small but many members which are making this up, which I think is terrific. So it's a good start, and it's so much. Remember the 8 scale? This is like it's a real place. You can imagine being in here. And I'm sorry you didn't make a float, because it would have been nice to see a float inside of this and get the scale of that. Because the reason I say that is the float also has this quality of a kind of a stage set. And so does the whole building, so it would be nice to see the two together. I would just want to say that, Stephanie, I think you're right on. There is what I call collision architecture that we're now seeing for the first time between the wonderful lace-like quality of the main building and the other building. And the connection, or I would call it a dance between the two, is not yet resolved. The dance between this, look at that, isn't that wonderful? The dance between this and this is very delicate right in there, and right there is where it falls apart. It's like somebody, they hired a very well-known architect to do this, and then they ran out of money because she was so difficult to work with and had so much for her commission. They hired a kind of a hack architect to do this chunk, and you could care less what she did. And that's where it shows up, right there.
Yeah, it actually is supposed to be higher, but it fell. It doesn't
The roof?
hold. Yeah, it doesn't hold.
Okay. Well, that's a technical model problem.
Yes.
But in terms of design, there's something that isn't quite resolved in there.
Yeah.
Now, watch out, because she asked me the other day, should the outlines of this follow the outlines of the roof? No, it's two different systems. So it is not that geometry should in fact govern everything that goes on. It can be entirely different. It is that there's a dance between the two. And this is what I call the 10% solution. It is not a major change. It's actually a 5%. It's just a slight, subtle change, maybe this being lower or being some of that geometry, but very little into it. And then, you know, you're sort of home free, so to speak. We haven't seen the other side. It would be nice now because you built almost all of it that you would do this. Actually, all you have to do is this, right? And then you're done. The other thing that concerns me is the incredible, and it has always concerned me, the incredible height for that partition, that entranceway. It's huge. And there's, is that it? Is that somebody?
That's, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a huge distance up there in terms of what you perceive. It's quite large. It could be, not that we can reduce the height of that because we've been through this before, because she's starting down here with something that's okay, and she's working her way up. But it is possible that we can break this facade, which I think is going to be the sub-theme of this afternoon. We could break this facade into maybe more translucent panels or even opaque panels up in here. So we bring the scale down to something that's more human.
Okay.
I know this has to solve the function of getting huge floats out and people in, but you can have both. You can have your cake and eat it too. You can have the human scale and the float scale, so to speak. So that's a couple things. Now, if I could over here, which is also a remarkable piece of work in terms of its flowing. You two got together because of the roof thing. You both have kinds of floating roofs. But this has an incredible sense of flowing to it. You know, the skateboarder is zooming in and out like a pinball machine. You get to everything happening. It's incredible. It's one more place that you want to go to just to hang out, to have your lunch, even if you don't like skateboarding, just as I like to hang out here on a winter day. So there's an incredible kind of flow in this, which I think is very, very positive. The thing that is so amazing is that the same person who did this delicate flowing did this ugly staircase that is just, I mean, it's like, it's outrageous in terms of its slope, the way it goes up. I mean, nobody in their right mind is going to go up that staircase, and if it's a ramp, they're just going to roll down. So it's not very gentle, whereas everything else has an incredible kind of feeling to it of gracefulness, even the skateboard part. That doesn't, and that's what it was subtly hinted to, I think, by your spokesperson. So this staircase, or whatever it is, you said you turned it into an escalator, I think, by default. But this thing could wind its way through that space as, well, different, but there's one that goes, or it was, went through that. And therefore, you could sense that space more. This is more like going to get to your airplane, you know, with your baggage on it. You're going up something to, it doesn't have that feeling. So that's like a complete miss to me. The next thing is that I think it was ingenious of your spokesperson to suggest, if it's possible, because it's kind of the idea of your building, Stephanie, that the skateboard people are moving up through it and under it and out into the copper tube that was on the other model. I think it was a brilliant suggestion that if there was a way that this thing could move out of the building, maybe a little dangerous, and how you make the enclosure there is not clear, but it would be really neat as a climber to climb out of the building if I could do so. And now I don't know exactly how you do that mechanically. You have to figure that out. But as opposed to stopping it just here. And therefore the vertical is equivalent to the horizontal, because that's what's happening in the vertical. Now, having said that, there's some technical problems. Somehow you got to open things up and close them. Finally, you get the award for the least amount of roof held up by something that we don't know. I mean, the roof is going to fly away. It's very thin, it's very flimsy, and this we get feeling that it's anchored back. This one is not connected, and it's so small. Actually, all the horizontal planes are probably under scale in this, but particularly the connection between the gracefulness of that roof which has got some size to it. It's not just, it's got to be a little bit more than that.
Yeah, just for like model making purposes, I couldn't get them to glue to the glass, but really it's like it'll have plastic and then this is a structure and then plastic on the other side sandwiched, and they wouldn't be flat either, so I just didn't glue them so I didn't have to have them on there and be unsightly.
So it's just like cured glass roof, and this would almost be like the mullions.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, then, if that's the case, I still think that as a detail, where the column is hitting this gets filled in, and it's taking the weight, and not it's not always streamlined. I can't do it back. I had to.
I don't know.
I think you had a pointy thing.
So, yeah, there you go. But
Now, the other thing, I just want to mention that once again, and again, I think this may be a topic this afternoon, is there's so much more that could be done with the facade on this one also, where there are just complete planes of glass, which you probably want in some cases. You may have overdone it. There could be places where you could break this down even more. That is, there could be an upper level for light to come in, even the notion of light shelves, of bouncing light in, and then a lower level. So these are relatively simplistic kinds of facade definitions. But it's beautiful. It's a great start. The challenge for both of these is how to keep this building this wonderful transparency that you have, that's inviting, but at the same time controlling light and access a little bit more. Again, that is not like a major change. That you're in all of you are in the area of minor changes as opposed to major. You know,